Hey, it's your life purpose coach, Edna J. White, and I'm here today to share some good information with you. So, I wanted to talk to you today because I got this spark of energy all of a sudden at 6:56 p.m. to tell you something about steps and transformation in your life. So, you know how we get stuck in steps that we don't know what's going on, and we just there going, well, I'm here to tell you today how to get out of that. You hear my girl just, listen, Angie Stone in the background. Doesn't matter anymore, baby, what's up? So I'm going to give you some transformation tips, maybe 6. I'll try 6 today. I'll really try. So I'm going to be looking at my notes, so don't think that I know all these by myself, okay? So I'm just saying it to you. Just saying. So I want to share with you these transformation tips because I think all of us go through them. I think we all get stressed out. I think we all kind of like, what's up? What the heck is going on in life? And we need to really let go and actually get unstuck. A lot of times is when we're not doing what we need to do to get unstuck, and we are just in this space of ours, and it's all about us. We're going through all of this stuff, and really many people go through the same thing, but nobody feels like us when we go through it, and I get it. Okay, I'm there with you. I get it. So what I'm going to share with you today is, if you're here with me right now and you're going through this, and your job and routines and your chores and your life and your relationship are the same mundane, stuck feeling, like nothing changes, what's up? So if you're feeling like that, you're not by yourself. I've been there. I actually asked myself, hey, why in the world am I in this situation? Why am I here? Who told me to be here? How did I allow myself to get here? So you feel like that, and you really get stuck in such a mode that you don't even know what's going on. You can't cry. You can't get upset. It's just frozen, right? So you know that there's a study that shows there's 2,000 participants do not get involved or do not feel or do not break their comfort zone. That's scary. So a person can live in their lives and get up in the morning, drink their coffee, look at their television, get up, go walk around their apartment, say hi to the one person that they know, and then go back and do the whole thing over again. So they are stuck. And do you know what that is? That is total fear. So 45% of these people are living in fear day in and day out. They don't want to go outside that comfort zone, because if they do, that requires them to know something they need to know in order to get in a better position. But they don't know how to get out of it. Have you ever been told these words? Keep your head up and your nose down to the grindstone. Well, how in the world do you keep your head up, nose to the grindstone? You can't do it. And it's always stuck with me. And the last holiday with Queen Latifah, she was in that show, and I love that movie, and that's one of my favorites. Queen Latifah is my favorite. She always said, keep your head up, keep your nose to the grindstone. That's what my mom told me. So how do you do that? Okay, how do you do that? So these are the challenges that break our lives. Being stuck in one position. These are the challenges that break our lives. See, we live with regret. When and if something happens in our lives, we're always apologizing because we think that's the last moment that we have in our lives. We're stuck. We need to get to a place where we live outside the comfort zone of just getting up having coffee? What about having tea? What about having warm milk? What about just having a glass of cold water? Because if we do that, we don't know what the reaction would be. What it all boils down to is that we want control. And what they say is we take our nose off, I think it is, take our nose off to spite our face, or we cut our nose off to spite our face. So we do it to ourselves, and then we get into this whole pattern of being stuck in your life. So everything just kind of like snowballs after that. So deep down, you have so many hopes and so many dreams, and then you live through, whether it be your kids' lives, your grandkids' lives, and you live through now social media. Oh, they're doing such great things, when you can do the same exact thing, and then get mad when they do better than you. Can you get it? Okay. So we have to learn to live differently. Okay, live differently and begin to live differently. There's a saying that says the most valuable thing you can do is acknowledge that you're there and you do something about it. See, we can acknowledge that we're there, but when are we going to do something about it? We can acknowledge that we had a messed up life, but when are we going to do something about it? We can acknowledge that we were given the wrong circumstances, but when are we going to do something about it? What we do is we transfer that information, or we deflect it onto someone else. Oh, it was my mom's fault. Oh, it was my father's fault. Oh, it was my cousin's fault. Oh, it was my... We do all of that so we don't take responsibility and control what we do. Yeah, that's us. So we still get stuck in life. We get stuck with the same people, the same things, and we keep struggling. One thing I cannot stand, and I can't accept from people and myself, more so myself, is that I continue in the struggle. I don't want to continue in the struggle. I don't want to be in there struggling and wrestling and trying to figure it out. How can you figure something out if you're struggling with something? If you're literally wrestling, can you actually figure out how to get out of a situation? No. Who even says that? So if you're running through life and it's so fast-paced and you're trying to keep up and somehow you always lag behind, you're stuck. If you're going through the same motions of the day and you realize that you don't want that anymore, but you don't know how to make it stop, you're stuck. So no matter what you're going through, you're not alone. Someone has experienced it, someone has gone through it, so you have no excuse to stay there forever. Because there's people like me, there's people like me every day, all day, that can say to you, get unstuck, move along, get out of that. And all you have to do is listen and have action. Everything requires action. It really does. Even if it's the smallest step, it requires action. So, you hear somebody like me say, it's time to get unstuck. And what's the first steps of being unstuck? Let me tell you this. I'm a childhood sexual abuse survivor, right? And you know that I've been in all these groups, and my book stuff has been accepted in RAINN, RAINN.org, is one of the major international agencies there is that supports and helps sexual abuse or sexual trauma victims. Okay? And I've been in those groups, and I find that people get comfortable in the trauma. They like repeating it. They like going through it. They like, regurgitating it. They like keep blaming other people. They like it. And then they get addicted to it. It's okay to blame a person in the beginning. But then you have to have a solution-driven life. You have to be saying, yeah, this is my circumstance. This is what happened to me. But I'd be damned if I'm going to let that predict the rest of my life. I'd be damned if I let it take over my mind, my soul, and my whole body. I can't. I can't do that. So, how do you keep moving or you move past this? You can't keep blaming the same person or the person forever. When is there going to be a solution? You can't say, this is what happened to me. When are you going to let it go? That's the thing. Let it go. You hold on to it so long that you no longer have nails, you no longer have fingers, you no longer have nubs, you no longer have hands, you're at your wrists. Because you've been holding on to trash. When all you should have doing is holding on enough to say, I can see that I can let go. But we don't do that. We hold on to all the struggle because that makes me relevant. That makes people say to me, oh, you'll pat me on the back, make me feel good, instead of allowing myself to allow myself to make me feel good. See, that's the thing. It's not always in someone else's perception or somebody else's job to make you feel good. It's your life. You can create. So it's time to get the glue loose. Unglue yourself from whatever is you're holding on to. Because something's not holding you back. You're holding on to it in order for it to hold you back. Because nothing holds you back. So think about that. Something is holding me back. Now, when I used to fight and argue, people held me back from the other person. Okay? So that's holding you back. That means you're going to tear them up. You want to tear them up. Are you really in that mood that you want to be held back? No. You're in the mood. You're in the mode of you're holding on to it. I want to just hold on. I don't want to let go. And you're tugging with it, so you're struggling with it because it makes you feel comfortable. Because anything outside of that is an experience that you have control over. So letting it go, the self-perception, the idea, the thought, the fear of outside the comfort zone, of letting that struggle go, is something that you are glued to and you want to grab onto. So you got to let it go. Release it. So you're not sure what's relevant to you, right? You're not sure. So we go through the questions. I'm going to read the questions. It says, are you disappointed with where you are in life because it's not where you thought you'd be? You're holding on. Are you finding it hard to forgive yourself, of others close to you, or something? You're holding on. Are you uncertain of what decisions to make next and feel paralyzed? Guess what? Holding on. Have you done or said some things that you now deeply regret? Guess what? You're holding on. Are you ready to let go of the monotony? Oh God, monotony. But are afraid of what's on the other side? See, it's good to have the monotony because you're used to that. I used to say that, familiar meant family liar, because a lot of things that are familiar come from family. So I used to say, family liar, think about that. So monotony is so familiar that you don't want to let it go. You're stuck. Do you keep playing stories over and over in your head from the past? Wow, a big one. I used to do that. You're stuck. Are you blaming yourself? Excuse me, I'm reading. Are you blaming yourself for others for the way things have turned out? You're stuck. Do you feel deep down that you deserve what you're experiencing? You're stuck. Do you truly not believe that there's a light at the end of the tunnel? And the light is you. You're stuck. Today, make a choice. Make a choice. Make a choice Are you going to let these thoughts and these fears hold you down? Because they're not holding on to you, they're holding you down, and then they're stopping you from your very existence. Or will you let them go and finally allow yourself to get unstuck? So what do you do? What do you do to get unstuck? How do you start this whole process? Again, letting it go, but more so than that, see, we're easy to forgive other people. We're easy to forgive them, and oh, God says forgive, but we forget about ourselves so many times. We forget ourselves. We forget to forgive ourselves, and we forget to release the past and drop the pain and give ourselves full permission to blossom into whatever it is that God has for us, or whatever the universe has for us, or whatever is available to us. We forget to do that for us. So many years ago when I was going to counseling, my counselor said to me, how do you know how to forgive yourself? Write a letter to yourself. Write a letter up to yourself. And it could be simple. And just to say, I forgive you for not forgiving yourself. I forgive you for taking this all seriously. I forgive you for not allowing yourself to do da-da-da. I wrote a letter to myself. Do you know how freeing that was? To see that all the stuff that I was holding on to against myself, that held me back. So I was holding myself back and holding on to something that I felt was familiar. So can you mention those? That's a struggle. Holding yourself back and holding on to something that's so familiar. A struggle. You have to make the choice today to no longer hold on to things that don't serve you. You have to make space for what you want to do and the person you want to be. Even in getting divorced, even getting married, even having a relationship, even business, even letting go of a job. You have to make room for that. Happiness is nobody's responsibility but yours. Happiness is something you create. And the only way you create it is that you do it. Because no one is going to be responsible for your happiness. No matter if it's your husband, your lover, your friend, your cousin, your family, your mother, your dad, your sisters, they're going to be concerned about their happiness. So what about you being concerned about yours? Because you haven't forgiven yourself. So forgive yourself. Get clear on what's important. See, a lot of times, I know when I was trying to figure out the mud that I was swimming through, I had to learn to let go of things, and I wasn't willing to let go of things. So I had to be clear, crystal clear. That means not just clear out of rose-colored glasses, not just clear out of dark glasses or anything colored. It had to be crystal clear. Like, it means that it was so see-through that it was very clear what's important to me. So what was important to me? I wanted to be clear on what I liked, who I was, and where I wanted to go in life. See, I wasn't clear on none of that because I was fulfilling everyone else's dream, and I was the girl that was great at answering everybody else's call. I was the one. It's not wrong to want to make other people happy, but to please other people is totally wrong. Because God didn't even tell you to please Him. He said to do what is in you, not to please Him. He said to love Him. Pleasing and love is totally two different things. Yes, it is. But that's another subject. So you have to get past the mean girl part of you, because I had to, because I was mad at everything. I had to get past that and get down to the nitty-gritty of what I wanted in life. I wanted to get unstuck really quick. I wanted to get down to what was important to me. I even wanted to find out what I liked and what I didn't like to eat. And did you know, a lot of things that I did like to eat is only because my circumstances predicted it for me. And I even call myself charged. Do I really like that, or did someone make me like that? Do I really like that person, or is it because the person went through what I went through? I had to ask myself all those questions. See, if you're hard on yourself, you'll be totally blessed, because guess what? You're sharpening the sword, two-edged sword. You're sharpening it. You're making yourself accountable for what you are going through, who you are. So how do you get clear on all this stuff? I'm going to go through the questions once again that I've written down. Let's answer these following questions within yourself. What are you doing, and who are you really doing it for? That's a very deep question, because I had to ask myself that a lot of times. What is truly important to you? Who is important to you? What do you value the most? What are you doing right now that doesn't line up with those values? So you can get totally wrapped up for the day and the day-to-day life and neglect the very things that you love and you value. I lost the love of writing because I was too busy pleasing other people. And I knew that I loved writing when I was 5. And when I was in high school, that's all I did was write. And that's how I became A1 student, writing. But I lost it because I was trying to please someone else. I didn't pick up writing for 20 years after high school. Think about that. I lost so much creativity along the way. That's why I'm in this stage right now. No one, absolutely no one, can take action to make me think that I can set myself aside and go through all of these changes without having to consider what I love and be clear about what I love to do and what's important to me. Okay, so release the need to do and be everything. Oh, that's a big one, because the need to be involved with everybody and not feel guilty about taking care of this one and doing that. It's a big thing. The human nature is to be needed, but it's not to be needed. It's to be wanted. It's a different thing. Needed and wanted is whole. Needed is the thirst that never will be quenched. Wanted is that someone else opens a door and allows you in. That's a big difference. So it's so confusing. That's so confusing to the self-worth. Many of us do things that are not successful, and we do activities, and we go run around, and we take care of this and take care of that, and because number one, we'll say, oh, that's what God or the universe or makes me feel great, or we're going to feed this one and that makes me feel great, and we feel accomplished when we do that, and then you sit at home and you don't feel like nothing. It's not accomplished. You just did something to pass time. But has that activity moved you forward to a better situation, to a better life, to a better objective? Is there something that made you successful or worthy? Did it make you feel worthy? See, there's a difference between being needed, and worthy. Were you worthy? Meaning, were you valued at the worth that you are? And people always ask me, how do you even value or put a value on worthy? I was like, well, if kidneys are a certain amount of money in the medical field, if your skin is worth so much money to a medical field, if your eyes, your cornea, your teeth, all of that has value, and you have no value because you don't put a value in yourself, All of what, if we take you apart and give you to somebody else, your family would get millions, especially if you took care of yourself. Why aren't we valuing ourselves at millions? Right, exactly. So, the sooner you realize that you don't have to do all those things, and you are worthy, and you do things that assist in helping you to be worthy, then you can only know that you don't need to do everything. You are a wonderful being. And just being who you are and showing up and proving that to the world and adding value to the world is enough. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you move forward. And don't get it twisted. I think setting goals, striving for more, and working at being better is wonderful and healthy. Okay, it's wonderful and healthy. It becomes unhealthy when you confuse those things with a level of unworthiness, and you get caught up in the state of constantly doing instead of creating. So how do you not do everything for everybody? To get unstuck from that mode, you begin to release the need to do and start being. I like that. I like it too. I love that part. Try deep breathing, meditating, and connecting with others. Things around you like the earth when you walk. And surround yourself and be in the moment and just be. It's going to be hard in the beginning because you're going to think you're lonely. It's automatic. You think you're lonely, like, oh God, I'm lonely. But it's really that you're being. And second, be mindful of the people who really love you. Be mindful of them. Look deep into their eyes. Pay attention to what they're saying. Be concerned where they are. And take deep looks at how they're doing things. Be there in the moment with them. The third is connect with nature. You know, when I first started walking again after my motor vehicle accident in 2006 on New Year's Eve, I started walking, I think, May. And I began to walk, and I was outside, and I would walk a few blocks, then I would walk a few more blocks, and then a few more. And it ended up, I started walking 5 miles a day. That's how I began my love for walking in nature. I began to touch the leaves and, enjoy the leaves and just have a good time, like taking in nature and everything around me. So my 5 senses were working, and they had never worked before because I was too busy being busy instead of being occupied. That's what I would say today. Ooh, I'm getting tongue-tied. I think I'm getting a little tired. That's what I would say to you today is stay in the moment so that you can stop doing everything. Uncover the passions and your purpose. Your purpose is not just your job. It's not just your goals or your visions or responsibilities or your roles. It's what makes you feel alive. Writing makes me feel alive. Touching people's lives and bringing out the best in them makes me feel alive. I hear people talking all the time about they're envious of that one. Oh, look what they got, and look what that. And I don't live like that. I don't think like that. I don't get upset when other people are living like that. I ask myself, how do Edna live like that? What is Edna missing that I don't live like that? That's how I check myself. I don't get envious of anybody else. I ask myself, why isn't Edna there? And what is Edna not doing to get there? So your purpose and your passion set the stage. Da, 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 for what you do in life. It directs your big vision, your goals, your dreams, and the things you want to do on a daily basis. When you become clear on your purpose and your passion, you build the momentum in your life that you always dreamed of and you didn't even know you dreamed it. Isn't that amazing? So what do? I journal all my questions. When I have a question about myself, I journal it so I can get clear. And I put the pros and the cons and I ask myself questions. And I have a book that's called The Big Ask that actually puts you on the course of your purpose and your passion. It's called The Big Ask. Look for it on Amazon. It's really great. It asks you the right questions, gets your mind going like, whoa, didn't remember to ask myself that. Wow, I didn't know I had to ask myself that. Look for The Big Ask. So you ask yourself, what makes me really, really happy? What did I love spending my time on doing as a child? See, that's the trick, is what you loved as a child. What did you love to do? You know? Yes, we all, some of our circumstances prohibit us from being a child. But I guarantee if you go back, before that incident happened, there's something that actually made you feel good and happy. What do I love doing now? What topics of conversation fire me up and make me feel angry, enlightened, confused? What topics make me light up and feel full of energy? What inspires me the most? See, the question, what topics of conversation fire me up and make me feel angry, we don't believe that we should feel those things. Anger is just a source of misfired emotion from fear. So if I get angry at something, it's because I'm afraid that answer might be right, and I'm struggling yet again with the answer. So be very clear on that. Anger is a part of you. Accept it, embrace it, it's okay. Okay, the great vision. The big picture of what you want. If you want to get unstuck, and you're here right now, figure out where you want to be. Because without clarity on what you do want, you always get more of what you don't want. I know, I've been there. Your big picture is the GPS to your whole entire life. It's the clarity that you need to put the steps in place to get there. It's the direction that you need. And without that, you'll never get there. Simple as that. What do? Using what means the most. Your hopes and your dreams. Your passion. Your purpose, and what really, really lights you up. Really gets you glowing. That great dynamic in your life, you know? That really great dynamic. Ask yourself these questions. What does your ideal life look like? What does it feel like? You know, when I got my new car, I got a Mini Cooper. I had to sit in a Mini Cooper and feel the Mini Cooper. And I had to look at my life with the Mini Cooper before I got the Mini Cooper. And because that made me feel happy. So finally, when I got it, I feel happy. It's the one vehicle that I love. You know, I've had Mercedes. I had 3 types. I had Hondas. I had Hondas. I've had a lot of. I had a Scirocco. I love international cars, but they made me feel good. But this car made me feel happy. Because it's what I always wanted. What do you want more than anything in the world? If you were to ask a kid that, if I would ask my grandson that, he would know right away. What does a perfect day look like in your life? Like, what does it look like? What does it look like? Like, if I'm working from home, what does it look like? That I'm going to be productive and not be aggravated. That I'm going to be happy, be able to do my exercise during the day, and have a great day. And then go to the beach at the end of the day. If money and time were no issue, what would you spend your days doing? Mine would be at the beach or traveling. I think that's what would be mine. And shift your mindset and shift everything. Your mindset is the final predictor of being unstuck. It's the way that you get out of being unstuck. Without that mindset, without that visionary, you are not moving forward. You know, deep down in your soul level, which is everything that you are, who you are, what you think, what you feel, is your soul. You should know what you want. Even if it's hard to pinpoint right away, you should know what you want. You have a unique gift that you're born with. And it's called purpose, that you have to share with the world. 100%. But if you don't believe in yourself, that goes away. And that makes you feel lost. Your mind is bigger than reality. If you don't believe that your dream is possible, it isn't. But if you believe it is, it is. If you don't ever believe that you're going to work your ideal business or your dream business, you won't. Whatever you believe is true, it is. Without realizing it, we often cut ourselves short and keep ourselves stuck because we don't believe it's possible for us. We have to believe that. That's what keeps us stuck. So, how do you start believing in yourself and gain the momentum to get unstuck? You see, I'm getting stuck on momentum. So ask yourself this: what have I overcome in life? What are my successes? A lot of times we do a lot of firsts, but we don't build on those firsts. I told someone this the other day. We do a lot of firsts because my mentor, the person I look up to in life, is Shirley Chisholm. She was the first person I saw on television as a little kid. And I said to myself, I want to be like her. And she did a lot of firsts. And she built on it. Whether she fails or didn't get where she wanted to go or where it was supposed to take her, well, where the end goal was, she still did it. And she did a lot of firsts, and she built on it. And she became successful. And those stepping stones got her somewhere else. What have you overcome in life? What am I really amazing at? What is my zone of expertise? These are all questions that you can actually ask yourself in order to set yourself in business, in order to set yourself on your purpose. What would life look like if I let things become easy? See, when you start living your purpose, everything becomes easy. You don't have to push to get anything. It just comes to you. What would it feel like if I truly believed in myself? I don't know. What would it truly feel like? Do you trust yourself to have that feeling? What would my life look like if I followed my dreams? Wow, big one. And what if I ignored everyone else's hesitations and followed my own intuition? I would be a lot further than I am today. Dwayne, I call him Dwayne, but his name is Wayne Dwyer, said, what we think determines what happens to us. So if we want to change our lives, we need to stretch our minds. That means leaving our comfort zone. So we either hide or we either shine. And so when we're feeling stuck, we are not shining, we're hiding, and we're living in fear. But when we're living in that shine and we're out of stuck, we are shining, shining, shining. We're in the light, and we are the light. Hiding is easy. Hiding, ladies and gentlemen, hiding is easy. Because everything you wanted, and I know you heard it before, is outside the comfort zone. It's off the couch. It's out of the bed. It's off the television. It's off the phone. It's outside of that. The only thing holding you back right now is you. I implore you today, I know this is 40 minutes and 42 seconds, but I implore you today to leave me a comment. Get unstuck. Look down on the bottom of here. Leave a comment. I'm going to leave my website. I'm going to ask that you, comment and get a 15-minute consultation with me. All new clients, not old ones, but new ones. Get a consultation with me and see where your life can take you. Hear what ideas that can actually help you flourish. 15 minutes is all it takes. Free time. Okay? This is Edna J. White, the Life Purpose Coach, signing off. See you next time.